Taylor Swift is being called in. According to court documents obtained by Us Weekly, the Bejeweled singer has agreed to be questioned by Justin Baldoni's legal team as part of the It Ends With Us director's ongoing legal battle with co-star Blake Lively.
You think you know what chaos looks like? September 2025 just redefined it entirely. We're talking about a month where restraining orders were the least dramatic thing happening in Taylor Swift's orbit. There's this story about a 2 a.m. incident that involves fence jumping, legal papers, and Travis Kelce's house that sounds completely made up until you realize it's entirely real. And that's before we even get to the friendship fallout that has Hollywood insiders questioning everything they thought they knew about loyalty. The twist at the end of this story? It connects to something so much bigger than any of us realized. Something that changes how we see Taylor's entire year? I genuinely had to verify some of these details multiple times because the audacity levels are truly unprecedented. Before we dive into this absolute circus, smash that subscribe button if you love messy drama breakdowns, hit the like button, and definitely hit that new hype button. It's YouTube's latest way to support creators, and it helps our channel reach more discerning tea lovers like you. Trust me, you'll want to be subscribed for what's coming in this series because the stories we're covering this month are absolutely unhinged. Let's start with what appears to be the most straightforward story. And I say appears because nothing this month has been what it seems. Taylor Swift just secured a 5-year restraining order against a 45-year-old man named Brian Jason Wagner, and the details of his behavior reveal a level of delusion that would be fascinating if it weren't so disturbing. This isn't your typical overzealous fan situation. Wagner didn't just cross boundaries. He apparently attempted to erase them entirely by changing his driver's license address to Taylor's Los Angeles home. Yes, you heard that correctly. He tried to make her address his legal address, which raises questions about both his mental state and how exactly the DMV operates these days. The audacity escalates from there.
Baldoni's attorneys note that Swift, whose song My Tears Ricochet was used in the film, would be deposed sometime between October 20th and 25th, according to September 11th documents. Per Us Weekly, the Grammy winner, a close friend of Lively's, had agreed to appear for the deposition during the last week of October due to pre-existing professional obligations.
Court documents reveal Wagner was trying to divert mail from her residence and sending lengthy digital communications that crossed into threatening territory. Oh, and he claimed that Taylor had his baby, a statement so detached from reality that it makes you wonder what other fictional narratives he's constructed about their non-existent relationship. Now, you might be wondering why I'm starting with this when I promised you something about a 2 a.m. arrest. That's because what happened with Wagner is actually connected to a much larger web of legal chaos that involves fence jumping, process servers, and a lawsuit that has absolutely nothing to do with Taylor, but somehow dragged her into the center of it anyway. The timing of these two incidents is what makes this story truly unhinged. Now we arrive at the incident that sounds like a rejected script from a legal thriller. Picture this: September 15th, 2 a.m. Travis Kelce's estate in Leawood, Kansas. Most reasonable people are asleep. Most reasonable people are not scaling fences with legal documents in hand. Enter Justin Lee Fisher, a process server who decided that normal business hours were apparently just suggestions. Fisher was arrested for jumping the fence at Travis's private residence, but his mission wasn't autographs or memorabilia theft. He was attempting to serve Taylor Swift with deposition papers from Justin Baldoni's legal team. Yes, the same Justin Baldoni currently embroiled in that explosive lawsuit with Blake Lively. The irony reaches almost comedic levels when you realize that a judge had denied the request to depose Taylor just 2 days before Fisher's midnight fence expedition. So he was essentially breaking and entering to deliver papers for a deposition that had already been rejected by the court. The coordination failures here are genuinely impressive in their thoroughness. This raises fascinating questions about legal strategy and desperation. When your process server is resorting to 2 a.m. fence jumping for already denied depositions, perhaps it's time to reassess your litigation approach. The Blake Lively lawsuit entanglement reads like a masterclass in how quickly Hollywood alliances can deteriorate. During It Ends With Us production,
according to a court timeline of the case obtained by People magazine, all depositions are to be completed by September 30th, which means Taylor's deposition requires a judge to sign off on an extension. E! News has reached out to reps for Swift, Lively, and Baldoni for comment and has not yet heard back. Taylor's deposition comes 4 months after the Karma singer's rep clarified her involvement in the film following a subpoena from Baldoni's legal team, which was later withdrawn.
There was a heated confrontation at an NYC penthouse between Blake and Baldoni. Standard industry drama, you might think, until you learn what Blake did next. In text messages later revealed in court documents, Blake referred to Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift as her dragons, protective forces she could summon when feeling threatened. The medieval imagery is both amusing and slightly ominous when you consider the context. Baldoni claims he felt ambushed when Ryan and Taylor appeared during their meeting. If you're surprised by Taylor Swift materializing in unexpected places, you clearly haven't been following her career trajectory. However, the aftermath of this supposed ambush reveals something more complex about friendship dynamics in celebrity circles. Sources close to the situation suggest Taylor later felt manipulated by Blake throughout this ordeal. We're discussing a friendship that appeared unshakable, with years of public support and collaboration that has since fractured over this legal mess. The nature of this manipulation remains unclear, but the implications are significant. Consider the timeline. Blake calls Taylor her dragon, summons her for backup during a professional dispute, and then Taylor ends up named in a lawsuit she had no involvement in creating. The progression from loyal friend to legal target is worth examining more closely. This friendship fallout occurred while Taylor was simultaneously navigating stalker issues and planning what would become her most personal album yet. The emotional bandwidth required to process betrayal while creating art is something we'll explore further. There's also the matter of timing. These personal revelations coincided with some of the most significant professional victories of her entire career. While navigating legal chaos and friendship betrayals, Taylor was quietly crafting something that would redefine her artistic narrative. On August 12th, during her debut appearance on the New Heights podcast with Travis and Jason Kelce, she unveiled The Life of a Showgirl, her 12th studio album. The creation story fascinates me. She was writing this music during the European leg of the Eras tour, essentially composing new songs while performing decades of previous work, night after night. The mental compartmentalization required for this level of creative output would challenge most artists, yet she managed it while dealing with everything else we've discussed. Travis admitted he still can't fathom how she accomplished this creative feat during tour demands. Her response was characteristically simple: "I just love it. I love music." She explained her process: 3 consecutive show nights followed by 3 days off, during which she'd fly to Sweden specifically to work on new material. The album features 12 tracks, including a collaboration with Sabrina Carpenter on the title track. The numerical precision feels intentional.
Her spokesperson told E! News back in May Taylor Swift never set foot on the set of this movie. She was not involved in any casting or creative decisions, emphasizing that the singer did not even see It Ends With Us until weeks after its public release. Her team noted that Swift's connection was giving licensing to use her track for the Colleen Hoover adapted film, for which 19 other artists also did.
Taylor's 12th album with 12 songs, each number carrying weight in her carefully constructed artistic universe. Drop your thoughts in the comments. How do you even mentally switch between performing old hits and creating new ones? Because the timing of this album's creation coincides with some major personal developments that add another layer of complexity to an already intense period. There's something about working on deeply personal music while your private life undergoes seismic shifts that creates a unique artistic tension. The album's title alone suggests themes of performance versus authenticity, which feels particularly relevant given everything happening behind the scenes. Speaking of August developments that somehow flew under the radar, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce announced their engagement on August 26th. The Instagram post featuring their engagement photos carried a caption that referenced "So high school. Your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married." The intellectual sophistication of that lyrical callback while announcing one of the year's biggest celebrity engagements deserves recognition. Consider the emotional complexity: planning a wedding while simultaneously dealing with restraining orders against stalkers and process servers scaling fences at your fiance's house. The bandwidth required to navigate romance while managing security threats would overwhelm most people. The engagement timing intersects with another major development that somehow received less attention than it deserved. Taylor's personal life was undergoing massive positive changes, while her professional world achieved something she'd been fighting for since 2019. Tell me in the comments, how do you process life's biggest celebrations when they're happening alongside genuine safety concerns? The juxtaposition of joy and vigilance creates a unique emotional landscape that most people never experience. There's something poetic about finding love during a period when trust became more precious due to friendship betrayals and legal complications. The contrast between private happiness and public drama adds layers to what we'll learn about her artistic evolution during this time. The story that deserves to be remembered as 2025's biggest music industry victory happened in May, when Taylor Swift successfully bought back the rights to her first 6 master recordings from Shamrock Capital. This concluded one of the most closely watched disputes in modern music history, originating from Scooter Braun's 2019 acquisition of her original label. Taylor discovered this triumph through a phone call from her mother after the Super Bowl. Her reaction was immediate and visceral. She dramatically hit the floor and began crying, with Travis witnessing this moment of overwhelming relief. She described it as life-changing, which feels appropriate after years of methodically re-recording her entire early catalog as Taylor's version. This victory means The Life of a Showgirl represents her first new album since gaining complete ownership of her artistic legacy. There's profound significance in creating fresh music while finally controlling every aspect of her past work. The psychological freedom this provides cannot be overstated. The timing creates an interesting artistic framework, writing deeply personal songs about performance and authenticity while simultaneously reclaiming control over your creative output adds meta-textual layers to the album's themes. The Showgirl concept takes on deeper meaning when you understand the business context. Consider how this professional triumph influenced her approach to other conflicts this year. When you've successfully fought the music industry's power structure and won, perhaps other battles feel more manageable by comparison. The confidence this victory provided may have shaped her responses to every other situation we've discussed. The theater release party deserves analysis as a cultural strategy rather than just marketing. Taylor Swift, the official release party of a Showgirl, runs October 3rd through 5th, coinciding with the album release. This 89-minute experience includes the world premiere of the Fate of Ophelia music video, behind-the-scenes footage, and personal reflections on the album's creation. Pricing remains accessible at $12 per ticket, while AMC specifically encourages singing and dancing during screenings. She's essentially democratizing the exclusive secret session experience, making it available to thousands simultaneously across the country. The cultural moment this will create extends far beyond typical album promotion. The timing fascinates me. Celebrating new music while potentially managing ongoing legal proceedings requires remarkable emotional compartmentalization. She's literally throwing a party while various people attempt to serve her legal papers and jump her fiancé's fences. The decision to skip the 2025 MTV VMAs despite her Artist of the Year nomination suggests complete confidence in her own release strategy. When you're secure enough to ignore major industry events in favor of your own projects, you've reached a different level of cultural influence. This theater experience represents something larger about how artists can redefine fan engagement when they have complete creative control. The intersection of personal victory, artistic innovation, and security concerns creates a unique backdrop for this album era. Comment below, are you attending the theater release party? The cultural impact of thousands of people simultaneously experiencing new Taylor Swift music in theaters could redefine how we think about album releases in the streaming age. Stepping back to examine September 2025's full scope reveals a fascinating case study in crisis management and creative resilience. We've witnessed restraining orders against delusional stalkers, midnight arrests at private residences, legal drama from friendship betrayals, album announcements, engagement celebrations, master recording victories, and theatrical release innovations. Most people would buckle under one of these situations. Taylor navigated all of them simultaneously. What strikes me most is her apparent strategic evolution. The Stalker situation received efficient legal resolution. The process server incident became Travis's security team's problem. The Blake Lively drama led to clearer friendship boundaries. Meanwhile, she created new music, planned a wedding, and revolutionized fan engagement through innovative release strategies. Each potential crisis transformed into either content inspiration or valuable life experience. The Stalker situation reinforces security protocol importance. Legal drama potentially influences artistic themes. The Master's victory becomes a triumph narrative. Even the process server incident illustrates the lengths people will go to in legal warfare. This pattern suggests someone who has learned to convert chaos into creative fuel and personal growth. Rather than being derailed by drama, she appears to use it as raw material for both art and strategic thinking. Drop your thoughts below. Do you think Taylor Swift has simply reached a fame level where normal life becomes impossible? Or has she mastered the art of transforming drama into artistic and personal advantage? I'm genuinely curious about your perspective on how someone maintains creativity while managing this level of public and private complexity. What's next for Taylor Swift? The album arrives October 3rd. The theater experience promises cultural significance, and presumably wedding planning continues. Knowing her track record, there's likely another surprise waiting in the wings. If 2025 has taught us anything, expecting the unexpected with Taylor Swift requires full-time attention and sophisticated analysis. The Life of a Showgirl era officially begins, and after everything we've examined today, perhaps we're all ready for music that makes sense of this beautiful chaos. Until next time, keep spilling the tea, one drop at a time.